Yo, what's up, Ramley? Welcome to the post game live. Another Rams victory, 2-0, 33-19. Cover easily over the Titans. Jumping on here live, got my man Skinny T, and joining us this week from beautiful Burbank, California, the Tuna in the house. What's up, fellas? Tuna, how you doing?
Living the dream, hanging out with the Wilter Rams group over at Buffalo Wild Wings for the watch party. I mean, no better way to watch the game than with your people. I love it.
With the people, absolutely. Skinny, how you doing, my man?
Deshaun Foster got fired today. There's a lot going on in LA sports, but we got a Rams win, so that's great. That's great news.
Yeah, it's never a dull day in Los Angeles sports, that's for sure, and NFL Sundays. So, but yeah, great win, 33-19. Offense kind of came to life there at the end. Tuna, I'll just start with you. Your overall, before we kind of get into the nitty gritty, your overall thoughts on the game.
Was a little upset in the first half. Felt a little complacent to close out the half. For my fantasy team, I love seeing Davante Adams get targeted 3 times from the 1-yard line. But second half came out, felt like they got back on track with okay, let's put this game away. Made the score look like what it should be on paper. Overall, good team win. Just would like to see it happen sooner in the first half against teams like that, but can't be mad at the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Skinny, your thoughts overall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also trying to focus on the positives. I was super curious about what Tuna thought about this win because I was thinking, oh man, this is a rough one. This is going to be another tough sledding kind of day. But they kind of squeezed the life out of this pretty formidable Titans defense. I thought they just kept at it. I thought the connection between Davante Adams and Matthew Stafford really kind of came into its own, and the play calling got better as the game went along, as you kind of pointed towards, Tuna. It was, suspect again in the short yardage areas, but the running game really wasn't popping. And I got to give a player of the game award to Blake Corum, who I thought had not a lot of carries, but a good job on him. So kind of a first, kind of almost a breakout game for Blake Corum, 44 yards on 5 carries, 8.5 yards average and a touchdown. So
first one of his career. First one.
There we go. So
about time.
Hear the game.
Yeah, finally spread the ball a little bit around. Still the Kyron show with 17 carries, but yeah, Blake Corum with 5 carries. Puka had that one, obviously big one that went for a touchdown. So would love to see the disbursement still get a little greater, but hey, we'll take it's a step in the right direction, right? Getting Corum at least involved, and he looked good. I mean, you see the burst that he does have when he's able to kind of hit those holes between the tackles. So, but yeah, for me, I agree with you guys. I think it was, the first half it was just like, man, you go into the half down, the offense really struggling. You didn't feel like there was a risk of really, I think, loss, even though they were losing, I think, because you knew this team would kind of put it together. So it was good to see them finally kind of able to do that in the second half and string together some drives and whatnot. And defensively really just clamped down, obviously, on a rookie quarterback and made him, look like a rookie quarterback, I think, in that second, keeping him under, 175 yards. I thought they did pretty good against the run overall. Pollard, 20 carries, 92 yards. So almost hit 100, but I think they, for that many volume carries, I think they did okay. So, Tuna, what'd you think of the secondary today? I think that it's a unit that, it's always kind of a question, and we don't know. Darius Williams finally got some play there in the second half a little bit. So what'd you think of the secondary?
Started off pretty damn strong. Forbes had like 1 or 2 good plays. I'm not worried about that back shoulder he gave up to Ayo Manor. Big body guy. He's really good. You can't really do much about a back shoulder. That gave him a first down. Great pass breakup. That touchdown that they gave up, though, I don't know how many DBs can cover for almost 8 seconds in the NFL. That's more on, I would say, Shula for only bringing 4. It's on those 4 for not getting there. And on the refs for not calling a very blatant holding call, which allowed Cam Moore to escape the pocket. They got better in the second half. Like you said, squeezing the life out of a Titans offense that is led by a rookie quarterback. Second half seemed more like what you wanted out of the Rams defense. getting more sacks. Don't like the fact that Akello got hurt. That's not fun. So I don't know if there was reports on that already, if that came out, or we're waiting to see what the report is on his injury.
Yeah,
I'm sure
your
they'll
thoughts?
ask McVay about that injury. The last thing I heard out of it was he was out. Ahkello Witherspoon, there was some reports that he was not coming back in. Not Ahkello Witherspoon, I'm sorry, Emmanuel Forbes wasn't going to come back in as well. That starts to get a little bit of worrying there. Some interest, miss Braden Fisk also missing time early in the game with something. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about what that was. So that could have been some of those early pass rush woes, because they really turned it on in the second half and racked up those sacks and those pressures. My guy, Jared Verse, another game, no sacks. I'm marking that one again. two games, no sacks. I don't feel great about it.
I know. When's it coming? When's it coming?
Yeah, we gotta get the.
I mean, I think if the entire D line wasn't getting to the quarterback, I would be worried. But we'll have to look at the all 22 to see if he's doubled way more than he was last week. I mean, Byron Young, if you want an edge rusher to be popping off, Byron Young is having a career year to start 2025. Forced that fumble that Nate Lamon almost scored on. I know we'll probably dive into that, but I mean, Byron Young looks really good. Picking up the slack where Verse is not getting to the quarterback yet.
Yeah, there were a couple of plays where Verse should have been there, I felt like, but didn't quite get there. I mean, on that holding call, as you pointed out, Verse just couldn't keep up with Cam Ward, who is a mobile guy, but he just outran him. Unfortunately, on that one. I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm just being hard on him because I do have high expectations, and I do think a guy like that has to come up big in big game situations. And he did against the Eagles in the playoffs, so you got to like that. But I want defensive player of the year for this guy this year, which would be big. But that's the only reason I really bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, the better he does, obviously, the better this team will do. So, but finishing with 5 sacks, obviously a good thing as a team. Byron Young, as you mentioned, too, finished with 2 sacks. So great to see him reaping some of the benefits against a not very good offensive line in the Titans. So they took care of that. Any concerns from this game? I think after the first half, obviously a lot of things came together, and obviously when you end up winning by the margin they did, there's a lot that is good, which is great. But Tuna, do you have any concerns at all coming out of this game?
I'm curious on what the decisions were early in the game, a little bit in the second half too, when it came to the defensive game planning. Yeah, you got after the quarterback. Yeah, you really only gave up 1 touchdown, but you knew they weren't just going to drop back and pass. You knew it was run the ball with Pollard, take some pressure off Cam Ward, and if you're going to pass it, play action, get him out of the pocket. They had early success with Cam Ward getting some mid-range throws. I'm kind of curious about that. Did people lose contain? There was a few plays I noticed where Verse was completely duped. To your point about him not getting a sack, Cam Ward had his best Aaron Rodgers impression of the really delayed fake handoff, looking back for a minute, and was completely by himself rolling out left. And you knew what they were going to do. Like, I don't know if there's any game planning for that, but they established the run a little bit better than I thought. So I don't know how you guys feel about that at all. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
It's a really tough game to judge because they ended up looking so good on both sides of the ball, and the stat sheet looks fantastic at this point of after the game. It all looks really good. But you gotta wonder about these slow starts on both sides, really. I think, I think Tennessee was keeping pace, and I think if they had a couple more dogs on offense, they could have scored a few more touchdowns and put a little bit more pressure on this team. And then, defensively finding your footing early. This should have been a much more of a statement game for all 4 quarters, and it's gone back through several seasons that, really last game, what we were talking about is, what did we want to see from this team? I wanted to see all 4 quarters really coming together. This was a team that, their offensive line was banged up and wasn't good to begin with. when they were going up against the Broncos, they just really couldn't run the ball. Their top receiver got 30 yards, and it was Tony Pollard. Now, as good as the Rams defense is, they're not the Broncos level of defense, but the connection between Stafford and Devontae, if that continues, should be able to get, off to an earlier, better start. Because it kind of looked like it was just going to be the Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford show, which is a great show. I'll watch it every week for sure. But I worry about Puka Nacua. He was slow getting up on a few things. Looks like he got his bell rung again this week. That kind of usage worries me. And Kyren Williams, his usage came down just a hair. So that's a good development. And we were able to see that all come together in the second half. So getting off to a faster start is where I need to finish that. And they're going up against an Eagles team that they're going to have to. There's not going to be a first half, second half kind of game.
Yeah. And we talked about on our live preview that what would the opening game script look like? Because there hasn't been that great from McVay. And the opening script, they were able to go down and have an opening touchdown, which was great. And then after that, there just wasn't much of anything for the rest of the first half. So how can they build upon that in future weeks? Because like you said, the games are not going to be, like a Tennessee game that, you can afford to kind of be down going into half and then just play lights out in the second. So overall, very good. I don't have like any glaring concerns by any means. I just think, playing that, I totally agree, playing that full 4 quarters, which will be really critical this next week, which we'll talk all week about with the Eagles. One little side note, this has nothing even to do with the game. Were you guys surprised at how empty the stadium was? Did you keep noticing that?
I didn't notice that at all, really.
Did you notice that too?
The first camera angle I saw was right after halftime, and the upper deck was kind of it was a little loose. I don't know if maybe they're coming back from trying to get some drinks at halftime, but it I mean, as excited as you can be for a rookie quarterback, I think a lot of fans are not high on Brian Callahan. I think when you don't have confidence in your coach, it really hurts your ticket sales. Rams fans were in force out there. I know there was a lot of people that flew out for that game. And one note, another anecdote on top of yours. I think it was the first quarter, they caught the Rams slipping on Kobe Turner was offsides. So it's basically a free timeout. It's now 3rd and 2. And then the Titans have to take a timeout because they can't get the snap off in time. It's like, what are you doing? You already have a rookie quarterback. Help your guy out. Brian Callahan is a weird one for me on the Titans team.
Yeah, it feels like, we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but it'll be kind of like a Bears situation where they had their coach, they draft a quarterback, and he could be out after 1 year where they find a true offensive guy. But that's a whole nother conversation. So did you see that all, Skinny? That's not even a valuable topic, but I just was surprised how empty the stand kept looking for an NFL game.
Honestly, it was I wasn't even paying attention. Trying to keep up with the Sean Foster news, UCLA news, and watching the game all at the same time. But it's easy to check out when your team's halfway cooked.
Which is hard to say, obviously, this early in the season. So,
yeah.
I thought overall, I don't have a ton of notes on this game. It was kind of one of those games that, that we went how we expected. I think all of us, I didn't hear from you during the week, Tuna, but I'm sure you had the Rams winning this game. I know we both did. 5.5 points favorites had them covering, and they did. So I thought it was a really, really promising second half. I guess I'll ask you this, Tuna, how do you build on this to kind of then lead into this tough Eagles matchup coming up?
I feel like, so this is going to be me being a McVay homer, as I always am. Even on his worst play calling days where there's clearly mistakes, not this week, just in general, I'm always going to find an excuse for him, assuming the best. And I'll reference again those 3 straight plays at the 1 or the goal line.
Yeah.
Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to take a silver lining from it, it's, okay, you're probably going to win this game. It's pretty handed. It's early. Let's work on some stuff. I almost feel like they treated it as practice. Hey, we didn't get a lot of shots last week in the red zone. We have the Eagles next week. We missed a lot of time in training camp between Stafford and Devontae. Let's just go to our guy. Let's get him in the end zone. Let's feel good. Devontae was open the first play, missed him. He had a shot on the second one, and the third one somehow in double coverage. He got his hands on it. So all 3 shots could have turned into a touchdown. That was my biggest gripe, but if I look at it, maybe they're just trying to get some work on some stuff ahead of the Eagles. I mean, I would say don't get lackadaisical against the run, but that's probably a work in progress the whole year compared to last season, of course.
For sure, yeah. Skinny, any thoughts on how they can build on this and takeaways for Eagles game?
Yeah. I mean, I think, to Tuna's point, kind of developing some things. I'm still curious how this 12 personnel is kind of shaping out. Tyler Higbee had a much better game. Just from a receiving standpoint, had some catches, got there for 37 yards. Had some really important catches, some first downs in there, which is what I like to see from him. Obviously Colby Parkinson not in there, but I don't think Terrence Ferguson had much playing time on offense.
Or big tackle.
But yeah, I mean, he hung with that special teams play, and he's the reason they weren't able to get points off of that blocked extra point, wasn't it?
It was a PAT. Yeah. Did you have Davis Allen scoring touchdowns in the first 2 games on your bingo card, by the way?
No, but it's really impressive.
Yeah. Doesn't he lead the team in touchdowns, technically?
2? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, in terms of receiving touchdowns. I mean, which is great, right? We wanted to see more tight end play anyway and utilize, and we knew they would do a little more 12 personnel. Just didn't think it would come in terms of Davis Allen. So we'll take it, though. Obviously, no Parkinson today, like you said, Skinny, so that changes things. I am curious to see when we see Ferguson featured more in the offense. But, like we said, after missing time in training camp and then, I think just taking a little longer to get acclimated in the offense, they're not in a huge rush to kind of get him involved, especially when they are getting some production from Davis Allen as well. So yeah, I'll be interested to see, and we'll talk all week about it, but kind of how this team builds a big connection. Skinny, you and I talked a lot about like will Matthew Stafford kind of start spreading the ball around more. And I think he did a little better today in that regards. Obviously still Puka was the lead man with 8 receptions, but Devontae 6, so much closer than 2 to Whittington, 4 to Higbee, 2 to Kyron, and 1 to Allen. Still no Tutu Atwell out there. Still just the invisible man, the invisible $10 million man that I remember they highlighted on one of, I think it was Blake Corum's run in maybe the 4th quarter when he got him down to like the 5-yard line. They're like, look at this blocking. And they were trying to like praise the blocking, and Tutu Atwell just got absolutely blown up in his block. And his guy was the guy that tackled it.
It's a touchdown if he holds the block. Just stand in front of him. Just stand there. And
he didn't even like try to block him. He just threw his body there and just got like pushed aside.
Which is the best you can expect from a guy with 150 pounds on a football field.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan Whittington, just to your point. I mean, significant catches. He's used everywhere. I don't think we talked about it last week at all, but in the backfield as a tight end, which I love. But yeah, I got back on the Tutu train right before the season. I was like, here we go. Yeah. And I'm yet again distraught, dismayed. I'm off the train again. Maybe I'll get back on, but I don't know.
It's a McVay thing, man. Like look at Deshaun Jackson didn't last in 2021. I forgot what the locker room stuff was around that, but I mean, he has a tendency to not know how to use the slot, speedy, undersized guys that can't.
I'm not asking. There was like 3 or 4 catches from Deshaun Jackson that year, and defenses are different now, so it's a little different. But I'm looking for like 1 or 2 a game where it just like it just makes sense finally, where it's like, and it just has never happened. And he got a big hard hit and dropped the ball. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, all we needed, like you said, we just need that 1 60-yard bomb touchdown, and hey, that's all you need. That a couple every 4th game, one of those, right?
And he'll have a really important one in like a huge game in a need to win situation, and everyone will forget all this conversation. But it'll happen.
But another thing I think they have to address is kind of the run defense. So Tony Pollard and DK, who I kept thinking is DK Metcalf on some team, but Shamiri DK, and 4.5 yards, 4.6 yards, nearly 100 yards for Pollard. Saquon Barkley next week, and they did a better job.
Just scored a rushing touchdown right now as you're speaking.
There we go. Last week it was Nick Chubb coming off of consecutive devastating injuries. He was able to really kind of push the ball, behind the 32nd ranked offensive line. So run defense. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera just froze.
I thought you were just
At least it's a
smiling
good
at
smile.
yeah.
See if I can change that or something. So, but that's probably a good segue. I think we can probably wrap up unless you guys have any closing thoughts on this. But a great win, 33-19. But any final words, Tuna?
Put the game away sooner. I ate my words and saying, hey, when's the last time they comfortably put a team away that they should beat? Score reflects that, which is nice. But yeah, to Spanky's point, run defense, like just suffocate. Hold them under 75 yards. Let's make them throw it 30 times a game. That's a recipe for winning. So we'd like to see that next week against a really tough Eagles game. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Go ahead, Skinny.
Got to shout out the linebackers as well. No missed tackles. Another big game for Landman, coming up with a huge fumble recovery this time. So another mea culpa to Landman. I was hard on him, and he's meeting the moment. So gotta love that. We also have to shout out our sponsors. Sleeper.
Yeah. Everyone check out Sleeper. Head and download the app. Use our promo code RAMSLAFB to get a match bonus up to $100. It's free money to play with. You can play the pick 'em there. Just pick 2 to 8 players. Pick more or less. I had Kyren Williams anytime touchdown on my card today. No Kyren touchdown. 33 points and no Kyren touchdown. So I did not win that, but every week, every sport, every game, you can have a lot of fun. Plus all the league-long fantasy league. So download the Sleeper app today. Use promo code RAMSLAFB to get a match bonus up to $100. Also, gents, I looked it up while we were talking, and Nissan Stadium holds 70,000 people, and there were only 59,000 there. So 11,000 no-shows out in Nashville. Empty for an NFL stadium.
It's not a problem at SoFi, I'll tell you that.
No. So, but hey, great win. Great seeing you both. Thank you so much, Tuna, for joining us. Always great to see you. What jersey are you rocking, by the way? Is that Stafford?
Got to go Stafford.
Stafford.
I'm waiting on my my new midnight jersey to come in on Tuesday. So.
Okay. I saw it was single digit, so I was like, is that a 2-2 jersey? After we're just bashing on him?
I did almost bust out the Johnny Hekker Super Bowl jersey, but it was too close to home. I don't want to support him that much. So
that's fair.
Number 10, Josiah Stewart, good game. But number 10 out there, I forgot that he had switched his number, and he's a defensive lineman. I hate number 10 on a defensive lineman. I don't.
Yeah. Because didn't Britton Covey take that number when he came over when they signed him? Obviously,
not a good move.
Not a good move as a receiver taking that, but then he didn't even make the team. So
it's
I forgot Stewart moved over to that. So
my closing thought before we close out is I will say the entire Buffalo Wild Wings here was chanting Landman after that fumble recovery. So he's easily a favorite right now. So
he's a fan favorite immediately. Yeah. Another great recovery. So. Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Great Rams win 33-19, 2-0. This is their best start that we've seen in quite some time. After the struggles in early season from the last 2 years, we get a 2-0 start and hopefully get fully healthy with Steve Avila back next week as well, which would be huge. So thank you, Ramley, for tuning in. We'll be back all during the week. Make sure to check out Tuna. Where can everyone find you again and all your channels and whatnot?
We're in the void somewhere, but no. First and Tuna podcast on YouTube and on Substack. Those are my favorite spots for you to come hang out with me.
There we go. First and Tuna podcast. Check that out. But thank you everyone for hanging out. Skinny, good seeing you as always. Everyone enjoy the rest of your NFL Sunday, and we'll be back right away next week.